This is Brennan Wilmington from the Left Turn Network, and welcome back to another Lumen Stock Car Invitational Series race, season number 5, race number 15. And we are about to wrap up the first half of the season, and we are here at the Tricky Triangle in the Pocono Mountains, the Pocono Raceway itself, one of the best tracks we have on the schedule. Very unique style of racing that we get here. It's been on the calendar for, I think, 3 years now. Uh, we're in a stretch of the year where it's a lot of tracks that we've been to before, but once we get to the chase, we will start hitting a few more unique tracks that we haven't been to either in a while or haven't been to at all. But we're still in the regular season. We still got 6 races left in the regular season. And there's quite a bit of things going on in the points for sure. First of all, before I get into that, joining us in the booth here today is Caleb Rose for the second time this season. Caleb, glad to have you back in the booth. And you've seen many races here at the Tricky Triangle. What do you think we're in? What do you think we're in for today?
Oh yeah, definitely excited to be up here at Pocono. This track is always usually very, very interesting every time we come here. It's very unique compared to other tracks that we have on the calendar, which is what makes it so much interesting and so much fun as well. Three-turn tricky triangle racetrack is definitely going to be a bit tricky for these drivers here today. It's a track where I think track position is definitely going to mean quite a lot. Strategy is going to play a huge part in this race, and of course, could be see maybe a bit of chaos as well with it being the tricky triangle, and always saw quite a bit of that in the Turkey Hill Truck Series race last year when Tyler Jericho and Andrew Williams got together, which started that whole rivalry over in that. But it's going to be fascinating to see what we see here in the LSCI. Of course, we had a great finish here last year when Zach Dearman got by Billy Smith in the closing stages of the race. Could we potentially see another great finish here this time around? We'll just have to see. But regardless of the fact, Pocono always usually such a fun racetrack, and it's going to be really fun here today with these LSCI drivers once again.
Yes, absolutely. And now we got to get into the points. Of course, they're becoming a bigger and bigger talking point. The closer we get to the chase, like I said, 6 races left until we get to the chase. Your current points leader is still George Bryan, and he's got a pretty healthy 70-point lead up on the cutoff line. So I think it's safe to say that unless he goes on a massive tumble, he will be probably punching his ticket into the chase here within the next few weeks. He has been the most consistent driver all season. And of course, he got that win at Mosport a few weeks ago as well. Tyler Landry is trying to break away from the pack in second in points. He has been arguably just as consistent as George Bryan. He just doesn't have the win and doesn't have as many top 5 finishes either. Only one on the year, which was a second place at COTA. But Landry has not finished outside the top 20 since the second race of the season at Rockingham. So again, some incredible consistency from that 66 camp. We were a bit worried about him after the first 2 races, but he has proven he's got nothing to worry about. Akiya Tajima in third in the standings right now. He is, I believe, it's getting very tight around the cutoff. I believe everybody between third and 10th is no more than 20 points up on the cutoff line. So a lot of things can happen. We still have the potential for massive swings in the point standings. Charlie McCarron, after an outstanding run that unfortunately did not result in a victory at Evergreen, still managed to climb up to 4th in points, carrying the flag for Honda, which has been a very struggling manufacturer this year. Zach Dearman in 5th, Jacob Lopez in 6th. Of course, with his 3 wins, he's probably guaranteed in no matter what. Alnita Kim slipping all the way to 7th, and if she's not careful, she might be in trouble here, maybe falling below the top 10. And with only 1 win, there's no guarantee she gets one of the wild cards, especially if Lopez and Corbin Taps finish outside the top 10. Billy Smith's been pretty consistent as of late. He's in 8th in points. Shauna Everett, the Lumen 500 winner, 9th. And Jake Sidney rounds out the top 10 in points. I feel like he's been sitting in 10th for at least a few weeks now. He's only 2 points up on Corbin Taps in 11th, and Everett's only 3 points up. Of course, Taps has those 2 wins, so he currently has the first wildcard spot. And then a horde of hungry drivers behind. Really, the only 2 behind the cutoff that are super close right now is Holly Martin, surprisingly enough, for NH Motorsports, and Adrian Wheeler in 13th. And then there's a bit of a gap to the Pacific Racing duo of Kate Summers and Vinny Scholes. I think everybody back from 14th on back. I mean, there's a little bit of a break there. I think they're their best bet on getting in, although there is time for them to make it up, is probably going to be through the wild card, and that's exactly where JB Chanot is right now, down in 22nd in points, but she's got that win. She's got that second wild card, but only 3 points back of her is Tim Barry, who also has a win, had that wild card spot last week before losing it to Chanot, and we might see these two fight for that spot back and forth, although given how far back they are and how many drivers could snag a win in between them, it is also possible that they both end up falling out of contention before the regular season's up if they don't get it together soon. But Caleb, as I look at the point situation and coming to a track like Pocono, what do you think is the right strategy to go for in terms of trying to gain as much as you can on that cutoff line, or maybe even getting a win today, which would be a massive help at this point in the season?
I definitely think at a track like Pocono, we definitely kind of, as this race goes along, you'll probably start seeing some guys spread out as this race ends up playing out. So I definitely, like I said, think track position will definitely be a key factor here today. And I think a lot of these guys starting up towards the front, like Corbin Taps, James Harvin, Cooper Spur there in the first two rows, have a great spot at potentially staying up there as this race does go along, unless they get shuffled up to the outside early on and fall towards the back of the field. Those guys have some a great shot at potentially making up some points. And guys like Corbin Taps right now sitting on the outside looking in, although he does have the wild card spot right now, does potentially have a solid opportunity here at maybe trying to jump in. However, I know there's going to be a lot of other drivers looking to try and do the same. Holly Martin, Adrian Wheeler, also there right outside of the cut line. And then you also got guys like Jake Sidney, Sean Everett, Billy Smith looking to try and hang on. Billy Smith, I do believe, also starting up here towards the front as well. You know, Billy Smith almost won here last year. He'll definitely be one to watch out for in this race. But still, like I said, I think as far as strategy goes, that's definitely going to be a key factor in this race and determining the track position as this race does end up shaking out. But it's definitely going to be intriguing to see what kind of strategy we do see in this race. But definitely be very, very interesting, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had a lot of good races here at Pocono, some of them coming down to tire strategy as well. That's going to be a big thing here at Pocono. We're going to have two pit stops, and they almost split this race perfectly into thirds. Sometimes the last stint is a little bit shorter, but really kind of varies, and we'll talk more about that as the race goes along. Right now, we got to talk about the starting lineup because for the second week in a row, it is Corbin Taps starting in first place. He was not able to take advantage of that pole position last week, but he did still manage a solid 13th place finish, but Taps is going to be wanting more to jump inside that top 10 because there are extra bonus points the higher up you finish in the regular season, and that could determine who is the champion at the end of the chase. Alongside him is another driver that's inside the cutoff right now, Billy Smith, just barely in. Again, like Caleb mentioned, had a good race here last year, almost won. If he can replicate that here again, he'll be in pretty good shape going into the last 5 of the regular season. James Harvin and Cooper Spur both on the outside looking in, starting in row number 2. Spurs got a bit more of an uphill climb than James Harvin does. He's down in 24th in points. Harvin's 16th. But regardless, they both need a big day here today. Tyler Landry, second in points, starting in 5th. Jake Sidney, 10th in points, starting in 6th. Then you got Tim Barry, who's fighting with JB Chanot for that second wild card right now. And alongside him is the third place driver in points, the Chicagoland winner, Akia Tajima. And then you got last year's winner here in row number 5, Zach Dearman, alongside 3-time winner this season, Mr. May himself, Jacob Lopez. Row number 6, a pair of Pacific Racing Toyotas, Vinny Schulz in the 62, Lulu Connie in the 92. Then it's George Bryan in the 3, the current points leader, and Alnita Kim in the 79, who needs a good day today in order to avoid falling below the cutoff after leading the points for much of the regular season. JB Chanot currently has that second wild card, 3 points above Tim Barry, but starting several rows behind him. So she's going to need to try and track him down and pass him. Those two pink cars are going to be going at it here today. And the 36 of Ashley Blake alongside her finished in 5th last week, despite being down on power for most of the race. Then you got Blake's teammate Shauna Everett right behind her, and the 58 car of Joanna Clark. Then it's the 6 of Lori Jackson and the 81 of Jack Gino, a pair of drivers that have not had the seasons that they were hoping for this year. Then you got 2 of the most interesting drivers from last week. Charlie McCarron led 81 of the 109 laps, but had to settle for a fourth place finish after the pit cycle at the very end of the race did not go her way. And Karina Willis Calloway, last week's winner, broke a 103 race winless drought and got a huge win for herself and Connie Twins Motorsports. She could technically still make the chase, although it is pretty unlikely. She's quite a few points back of both Barry and Chanot, down 30 at the points. Really, that win was more of a moral victory and also gives a big financial boost to that team that's been struggling with such. But still a great story. Karina Willis Calloway winning last week. And we'll see what she can do here today if she can back it up with another good run. Nathan Buchanan in the number 15 outside the cutoff, 17th in points right now, along with Lake and Herndon in 20th. Both of them need to hustle in these last few races if they want to get into the chase. JT Boyd in the 77 has not had a good season this year, being outshone by his teammate Holly Martin. And it's interesting because with NH Motorsports, historically, it's been the 27 that has been the car lagging behind, but they've swapped roles this year, and Boyd is really going to need to pick it up if he wants a shot at the chase. LaTanya Gray driving the number 20 this week, starting alongside JT Boyd. Dennis the 55 of Michael Harvin and the 10 of Simon Lawrenson. Got the 32 of Kate Summers and the 9 car of Duncan Ward in his second Cup Series start. He finished inside the top 20 at Evergreen after starting in dead last, so we'll see if he can back that up with another good run here at Pocono. Damon Kirby, the second place finisher, a career best finish for Kirby from last week, but he's going to be starting towards the back here today. And alongside him is the 27 of Holly Martin. This is not the start that she wants, considering she's 12th in points, trying to gain on that cutoff. But who knows? We have seen drivers come from deep in the field before. I believe Kevin DuPont, when he won here a couple years ago, started from 33rd on the grid and managed to make it all the way up to the lead and win the race. Speaking of DuPont, he will be starting from out back here, 34th this time, alongside his teammate Darren Walker, who has had a terrible, terrible season where just about everything possible has gone wrong for him. Of course, he missed the Lumen 500, and then last week ended up upside down on the front stretch at Evergreen. So looking to get anything out of this season at this point. And rounding out the field is the 40 of Adrian Wheeler and the 2 car of Kobe Hollenbeck. We had 2 cars fail to qualify for the race. Paula Sasikwa was entered in the Action Racing number 5, and Kaylee Maxwell in the Blake Everett 52. Both of them failed to make the show. It'll be a 40-lap race, like I mentioned, 2 pit stops, and they'll be broken up pretty evenly. So if we don't get any cautions, the cautions could definitely still mess things up. However, we have gone caution-free in both of the prior races here at Pocono, so it's possible that we still don't get one here and go 3 for 3. But this track is tricky, and all it takes is one driver oversending it into the corner, and that could cause a mess. And we've seen that couple weeks in a row. That has been a major thing. So we'll see what these guys have, and we'll see who ends up coming out on top here at Pocono.
Drivers, start your engines!
And the field will roll off of the backstretch here at the Pocono Raceway. Make sure everybody rolls off the grid all right, and they will. Well, Caleb, here's the magic question. Who do you think is going to win at the Tricky Triangle today?
Well, he's got a good starting spot and almost got the race victory here last year. I think this is going to be a redemption race for that number 88 of Billy Smith. He's had a solid season. I believe still looking for that first win of the season, though. Today will be the day for that number 88.
He's actually looking for his second career win, of course, his second career win, but his first one of the season. Hasn't won since the Lumen 500 a few years ago, but starting on the front row, along with Corbin Taps, we are green flag racing here at the Pocono Raceway. Coming out of turn number 3 to complete lap number 1 here. Billy Smith gets a really good run off of turn number 3, and they're going to drag race each other back to the finish line down the longest front stretch on the calendar. And I do believe Taps led that lap by 8/1000ths of a second, but it looks like Smith's going to take the lead back. And I tell you who's been slicing and dicing and dealing off this initial start is Tyler Landry in that 66, and we saw him doing some of that late in the race at Evergreen. Unfortunately, again, the pit cycle did not go his way, but he started from 5th. He's already passed 4 cars to get up to 2nd, and he's making his way up to the front here, trying to find a way around Billy Smith. Taps stuck in that outside lane. He's going to lose a spot to Zach Dearman. Alnita Kim, Ashley Blake, Tim Berry trying to furiously fight their way through traffic. Some of these drivers started in the mid-20s and have already gained quite a few spots since the initial start. And a lot of drivers that did not have great starts to the race, George Bryan included, falling well outside the top 10 after the first couple of laps. But you're going to get a lot of shuffling here at the start of the race, but it will spread out as the race goes on. And here's a familiar sight to the spectators for this. It's the same two. Oh man, Ashley Blake up the track. Landry almost up into the wall as Ashley Blake doored him going into the corner, and he is going to get the wall on the back straightaway. So just as we were talking about that great start that Landry had, and he's got some left side damage, and I think, if I remember correctly, this exact same thing happened to him last year early in the race as well. So he might be a little bit snake bitten at this racetrack.
Everybody trying to go for whatever positions they can here early on in the going, while everybody is still bunched together. And I don't know if Ashley Blake might have just sent it too hard there into turn number 1, got into Landry, and I'm sure Landry's probably not going to be the happiest camper about that. We'll see if he can rebound, but yeah, he definitely has a bit of damage there in that 66 and is losing a lot of spots. Like you're talking about, though, here's a familiar sight. Billy Smith, Zach Dearman, they're both off to good starts in this race, now going side by side for the second position. But now out front, it's a 79 of Alnita Kim looking to try and go back to the ways they were towards the beginning of the season. It's kind of hit a bit of a rough patch here in the mid-season, but looking to try and rebound in that 79, looking to gain some more spots back and points. Now leading the way here at Pocono by a solid margin now over Billy Smith. Here comes Tim Berry in the 1, making their way up to 3rd, followed by the 45 of James Harvins, who's also off to a solid start in this race. A lot of positions changing here early on in the going, but like you said, as it goes along, everybody's going to start spreading out, and it's going to get a little bit more difficult to make significant progress. However, the passing opportunities will still be there, as Tim Berry now makes his way up into 2nd past the 88 of Billy Smith as they continue to go at it here into turn number 1 here on lap number 5.
Yeah, we didn't see how Alnita Kim managed to get past both the 88 and the 18, because before the 66 got into the 36 there, she was back in 3rd place, but she managed to pass them both. And now Alnita Kim is back out in front. The rookie sensation for Columbia Motorsports went off to an incredible start this season, but has slid as of late, almost in danger of falling below the cutoff. And now we got a couple of McPicky Motorsports cars who have not been having the greatest of seasons. Of course, Laurie Jackson is still struggling down in 31st in points, but Tim Berry's rebounded a little bit. He's up to 24th. Again, battling for that second wild card with JB Chanot right now, and he is quite a ways ahead of JB Chanot. You can see Chanot in the other pink car about 2/3 of the way through the field down that front straightaway. So Berry right now would be gaining a ton of points on the 29 of Chanot. But I don't know. We'll see how this wildcard situation plays out as the race goes on. We got 3 McPicky cars inside the top 5. McPicky Motorsports has not been that dominant this year. Like I said, 2 of their cars have really not done much of anything this year. But they do have 3 wins as a team still, so they are still a force to be reckoned with, and they are showing out mightily here at the Pocono Raceway. And I think if Tyler Landry didn't get doored in turn 1 there, he'd be up here with them. But it looks like Tim Berry is going to make the pass on Alnita Kim, and that's going to put the T-Mobile number 1 car into the lead. Here comes James Harbin trying to get some more for 2nd, and maybe even going to get a drive for the lead off the bottom of turn number 3. And they're going to drag race each other again down the front straightaway.
Huge run there from the number 45 of Harbin. Just barely couldn't get the one there at the line. 3/1000 a second.
Oh, he did get it.
Was the gap across the... Or we did get him, actually. So Harvin will lead that lap, and he'll finally clear for the lead here going through turn number 1. Alnita Kim staying on the back bumper. There's the 81 of Jack Gino battling up here as Kim looking back to the inside, looking to try and take the lead back away from the number 45 of Harvin. Harvin trying to hang on that outside, sending it deep into the tunnel turn, but Kim's going to have the preferred line and still going to pull up alongside that number 45, still side by side here into turn 3. Harvin will back off a little bit there and will let the 79 have the spot. However, he is going to be a bit vulnerable here on the outside of turn 3. There goes Jack Gino. There goes the 6 of Lori Jackson going side by side with the 45. Tim Berry also looking to try and get in on this battle as well. But back to the lead. Here comes the 81 of Jack Gino. Going to take it away here as we come to complete lap number 7. And Kim slipping back on that outside now as here comes Lori Jackson to the inside. Jackson having a great run in this race. And looking at where they are in points, this is exactly what they're looking for.
I don't know if Lori Jackson can still make the chase. Of course, if she wins the race, then maybe that changes things a little bit, but from her position right now, back at 31st in points, it's going to be a long shot for sure. Tim Berry's definitely needing these points. Jack Gino's another driver that surprisingly has been kind of nowhere this year. We're used to Jack Gino running up front, competing for wins, but he's down in 25th in points. He's really only had a couple of decent runs this year. He's been the weakest link at Hudson Motorsports. But right now, he's out in front in that 81 car, the Season 1 champion himself. And Berry will get back past his teammate Lori Jackson. You got James Harvin in 4th, and George Bryan after that. Just a bit of a struggle of a start for him, has made his way back up into the top 5. Here comes Berry trying to get under Gino, but Gino's going to shut the door on him in turn number 1. That's going to end the opportunity for the 1 for now, but he's going to try and get that slipstream down the backstretch, and he's once again to the inside of the 81. There has been no shortage of passes for the lead. That seems to be something we've been used to here at Pocono. Jack Gino is going to scrape the wall as he tried to angle the corner there, and that is not going to work out for him as Berry is going to retake the lead in the number 1. Maybe Lori Jackson will try and take an opportunity to get second in turn number 3, but it looks like she's going to stay behind the Hudson Motorsports Ford.
Jack Gino with a solid run there, still out of the tunnel turn despite getting into the wall, and a great run again here through turn 3 as he's looking to the inside of the 1 of Tim Berry, looking to try and take that lead back away. Lori Jackson in the number 6, kind of waiting in the wings with these two, sticking in the 3rd position. They go side by side here into turn number 1. Gino's going to clear on the inside. A big send by Lori Jackson down low.
Ashley Blake is off the pace, and I noticed on the sheet or on the ticker that she's well back, and I think I saw some skid marks in turn 1, so it looks like Blake might have had some issues with that corner again, and that caused drivers like Jacob Lopez and Latanya Gray to lose a bunch of ground in the back of the field. And we'll go ahead and show you in the bottom right corner what happened there, but it did not bring out a caution. We're still green 10 laps into this thing, but sorry to interrupt you, Caleb. I thought that was a bit of an important thing. Blake is 21st in points. She's actually been having a lot of good runs this year despite the 2 D&Qs, but that's going to be a big setback for that 36 car.
Yeah, glad you called it out, actually. I did not notice those skid marks there, though, on the outside of turn number 1. And yeah, it looks like it was Ashley Blake in the 36 with a bit of an issue there. Really tough break there for Ashley Blake. Jacob Lopez as well. Don't know if they were involved in that, but at the back of the field now is that number 50, and a tough break there for one of the LSCI's greats, former champion there. But things are still crazy up here for the race lead. Jack Gino continuing to lead the way, but he's got a mirror still full of the number 6 of Lori Jackson. Here comes the 3 of George Bryan. Now back up here. He slipped back a little bit there earlier on, but he's now clawed his way back up into the 3rd position, and your points leader looking for another good run, as here comes Jackson to the inside of Gino for the race lead. Tim Berry, James Harvin going at it behind them. Also, here's the 99 as well, the Kia Tajima. They found their way up here. Buchanan and Everett also looking to try and close in, but still, you can see this pack has really kind of spread out. And look at this! The number 10 is Simon Lawrenson.
He started all the way out back. Darren Walker's up here as well. He's 33rd in points. He's behind every other full-time car by a considerable margin. So great to see Darren Walker back up here having a good run. And he had a good run going at Evergreen before having some trouble in the pits. And then, the incident on the front straightaway where he ended up on his roof. But nice to see Lawrenson and Walker up here having some good runs. And JB Chanel right now, currently, I believe, is in 10th place. I think Lawrenson's currently scored an 11th. But she's trying to gain as much track position as she can on this one car. Barry's not leading anymore, but he's still up in the top 5. And Chanel's going to try and make sure that he doesn't get too far away from her, but Barry's trying to work the inside lane here. And I think we're going to start seeing some pit stops here within the next 2 to 3 laps, so that's something to keep an eye on. Pit road can get pretty chaotic here at Pocono Raceway, especially when everybody's coming in and pitting at the same time. But it's Laurie Jackson and the Irwin Tools Chevrolet currently leading the pack. Jack Gino, Tim Berry round out the top 3. Okay, then George Bryan and James Harvin rounding out the top 5. Akiya Tajima, like you pointed out, has been a big gainer in this race. He's been very good during this run. See if he can keep it up here as the race goes on. And it looks like Gino is going to make the pass on Jackson, but it looks like they're dipping into the pits. So here we go. Pit cycle will start here at the end of lap number 13. This is a tricky pit road to get into. Sometimes you'll see you guys. Oh my goodness, Charlie McCarron! She's rolling in turn number 3. That is almost certainly going to be a yellow. Vinny Scholes has damage. And I think we've just seen our first caution.
What on earth?
Pocono. And Charlie McCarron with another vicious accident. What in the world happened? And what is this going to do to the running order?
Oh my goodness.
I think Billy Smith has damage. He does. On both sides of the 88. So it might have been him that got into the 85, but there were other cars that got involved. We saw the 62 of Vinny Scholes with a scrunched up front end. But all these cars, they are going to finish their pit stops. I don't think they're going to go a lap down, so I don't think that is going to be a major concern. However, Karina Willis-Callaway looks like she has damage as well.
Oh, no.
Bit hard to tell from here, but she is behind the 85 of McCarron. And it looks like these guys did take the yellow. So everybody that just came in actually kind of benefited from that because they don't have to come in under caution. So this might have really messed with Tim Berry, Nathan Buchanan, Cooper Spur, Corbin Taps, all these guys that didn't pit the first time. Because they're going to have to come in this time, but everybody else behind is going to end up cycling back out in front. That is actually really bad news for Barry. As you can see, most of the field did come down that first time. So Barry's going to lose a ton of spots as a result of this.
It's definitely going to set a lot of strong cars behind the 8-ball here. Tim Berry running up front pretty much about all of the race so far. Nathan Buchanan was trying to make a charge up there. Saw Corbin Tapp slipped back a little bit, but he definitely looked like he had a fast car. Same for Cooper Spurs. So going to be a lot of strong cars potentially starting towards the back of the field here once we do get to the restart. But, oh my goodness, that was certainly unexpected.
Yeah, that was a frightening-looking accident for Charlie McCarron. We hope that she's okay. I mean, she's been through quite a few big spills in her career, so, she's walked off quite a few of them, so maybe she'll be okay here. But I'm looking at these cars that are coming in, like, in the wild card situation, this is worst case scenario for Tim Berry because he's down here, but so is Taps and Lopez has damage from a prior incident. So those are the guys that could potentially take those wild card spots away from a driver like Chanot and Berry, plus Berry himself going down there. This is really not what Tim Berry wanted to see at all. I don't think it could have gone really any worse for that one car, so he's going to have to do some work here on this restart, but a frightening accident in turn number 3 involving Charlie McCarron as she went flipping for the second time in 3 weeks because remember she went upside down and into the fence at Denver just a couple of weeks ago. So this is the third week in a row that we've had a Walker Brothers racing car on its roof. That's definitely not a stat that you want to see if you're Walker Brothers Racing, but we're going to show you what happened to Charlie McCarron there in turn number 3, and then we'll get you back to the restart here at Pocono. Going into turn number 3 on lap number 14, and this is a big accident for Charlie McCarron. She's running at the back of the field racing alongside the 62 of Vinny Schulz. And she just runs the 62 up the racetrack, up into the wall, and that immediately tips the DHL machine onto its roof. Slides around on the roof, Joy Logano style here for a little bit, then gets into the wall there, almost gets back onto the wheels, almost gets up into the fence, but then the rolls begin as she gets past the what turn 4 sign, and over. It's like 4.5 times for the 85. And, Walker Brothers Racing has had a rough few weeks with cars flipping over. That's the third race in a row that one of their cars has turned turtle. But, thankfully, looks like McCarran's probably going to be okay after that. She's been through worse accidents. I'm immediately thinking of the season 3 wreck she had at Indianapolis down the back straightaway. Looked kind of similar to this one, except there were a lot more tumbles and a lot bigger hits. But thankfully, looks like she's going to be okay after this one. One of the toughest drivers in the garage, but part of that toughness comes from being involved in so many big wrecks. And that's definitely not something you want to see for Charlie McCarran. But this is really going to shake things up in terms of the strategy, as all the cars that ended up staying out are going to end up restarting at the tail end of the field. So we'll see if any of them will be able to drive their way back up through the field as the race goes on. But Charlie McCarran's day is going to be over for sure.
Watching here in real time here as we head into turn number 3, McCarran just kind of forcing the 62 up the racetrack. I don't know if they were trying to stay out with everybody else coming in or what, but just on the 62 up and into the wall, and that's going to send the 85 tumbling through what turn 4. A really tough break there for Charlie McCarran. Second time they've been up and over here in the past 3 weeks, I do believe, and I believe this is the third week in a row, like you said, that a Walker Brothers racing car in general has gone up and over. I know that's definitely going to be another sizable divot in team owner Walker's wallet, but really tough break there for Charlie McCarran and Walker Brothers Racing, and 85 definitely going to be out of the race because of this. And with it happening at such a weird time, it's definitely going to cause a lot of shakeups in the running order as well.
One more look from the pit lane camera. Very similar to how we saw it happen. You see the caution come out, and there you see the reason why. And that's definitely one of the most dramatic sights that we've seen throughout the season. And 85 going tumbling through turn number 3, and it's a big accident. But we're going to get you to that restart here very shortly. Thankfully, Charlie McCarran is okay, so she's going to be able to race next week. Again, she's walked off worse, so that's definitely a good sign to see, and we can get back to racing here at Pocono. Welcome back here at the Pocono Raceway, wrapping up our first caution of the race. First caution ever here at Pocono, and about 2.5 races worth of racing here. But it was a very big one. Charlie McCarran out of the race after a dramatic flip there in turn number 3. We hope that she is okay, because that looked very nasty. She was getting up into the fence potentially there in turn 3, but Pocono Raceway is no stranger to violent wrecks, both in stock cars, Indy cars, whatever has been racing here. So yeah, that was a particularly big shunt in turn 3, but pace car is going to pull off here. Laurie Jackson will cycle out as the leader, with Jack Gino, George Bryan, James Harvin, and Darren Walker rounding out the top 5. And this has really shook things up, because drivers like Tim Berry, who failed to pit, as well as Nathan Buchanan, who failed to pit before that caution happened, ended up cycling out towards the back. We'll see if they can maybe recover from that. They've still got more than half the race to do it. And with this restart bunching up everyone together, this could give them an opportunity to gain a bunch of spots. George Bryan going to try and hold off Darren Walker here, as Walker was able to get past the 41, or the 45 rather, on that restart. And now he's underneath the 3 of Bryan for 3rd place. Shauna Everett made a big dive bomb on James Harvin to get herself into the top 5. Alnita Kim, Akia Tajima, JB Shino. We got a line of 3 Columbia Motorsports cars all inside the top 10, trying to make their way up through the field as Harvin continues to slip back on the restart. And we're side by side once again for the race lead as Gino goes underneath the 6 of Jackson with the help from Darren Walker. And Walker's going to try and get underneath going into turn 1.
His car just went flipping in turn 3, and he's trying to take the lead.
Yeah, he has had a miserable, miserable season.
Whoa!
He kept the gas in it going through turn 1. Gino looked like he was going to cut him off, but Walker says, no, this is my spot. He's underneath him. Going for the lead now. He's got the help from Shauna Everett, and Darren Walker's going to get the lead, but how long is he going to hold on for it? Here comes Everett to the inside.
Well, we've bunched everybody back together again, and these guys are making the most of it. Shauna Everett out front in the number 57. Alnita Kim now looking for second in the 79. And yeah, here comes the Columbia Motorsports train as Kim is followed by Tajima, followed by Chanot. And look who's behind them. Simon Lawrenson in the number 10 is making some headway here inside of the top 10. And my goodness, these guys are going crazy here throughout the rest of the field now that everybody's bunched back together. Everett trying to hold on to the lead. They're side by side behind them as Tajima and Kim go at it. Chanot, with help from Lawrenson, is going to get to the inside here for third.
Lawrenson's in the top
crazy
5.
fun racing here from Pocono.
And don't look now. Here comes the 4th Columbia Motorsports car. Lakin Herndon is up here as well. So all 4 of their cars inside the top 10 right now. Trying to make it all 4 in the top 5 as they try to run the high side. But they're not going to be able to get past Simon Lawrenson and Kevin DuPont trying to make their way on the inside. DuPont got his first career win here 2 years ago at this racetrack. Could he get win number 3 of his career 2 years later? He's looking like he's got a very strong car, and I think the Walker Brothers cars that are still in the race are looking pretty fast, so we'll see if they maybe have a bit left in the tank here, but Shauna Everett still in front, JB Chanot in second. This is exactly what Chanot wants to see. Simon Lawrenson moving up to third. But you know what I really want to see? I really want to see Lawrenson and Everett battling for the win, because I don't think we've seen these two teams, these two bitter rivals, go at it for a race win before. That would be an amazing thing to watch at the end of this race. But DuPont has other plans. He's going to try and get underneath Lawrenson here for third. Not quite close enough to make a move on Chanot for second, but he is going to get that spot from Simon Lawrenson. Here comes Jake Sidney. Both of the Seven Hills Autosport alumni battling each other for fourth, and Sidney will take the spot with George Bryan right behind, trying to break into the top 5, and he will.
Bryan back on the move as he's now back up to 5th. Ooh, he's looking on the 98 of Kevin DuPont now, looking to try and give some help there to the 19 of Jake Sidney. Back in through there, Nathan Buchanan all the way to the inside. Looked like there were 3 wide out back there, at least for a second. Buchanan on the move in the number 15. He was one of those cars that kind of got caught off guard there by that caution flag, but he's trying to make some ground back up. Now behind another Appalachia alumni there in James Harvin, who kind of got shuffled back since that restart. Same for the 81 of Jack Gino. Really struggling
and
since
Lori
that restart.
Jackson.
Same for Lori Jackson. They've really kind of dropped like rocks since we got back going, and it's been a really tough break for those two ever since we've gone back green.
Yeah, absolutely. Nathan Buchanan, though, already back inside the top 20, trying to recover from that little miscue there that was caused by that caution. Of course, nothing that Buchanan could have done. They were already committed to pitting. They didn't expect to see a flying 85 car into the turn 3, but Buchanan's doing a great job of trying to recover here. But he's still got a ways to go to get to the lead, which Everett has held consistently for the last few laps. The Lumen 500 winner has already got 2 wins in her career at Denver and at Daytona, both large ovals. Well, this is kind of a large oval. It's a large triangle, so it would fit with the theme of Everett's wins happening here, but Kevin DuPont is on a mission in this 98 car. He has had a pretty bad season. In fact, he's kind of had a pretty bad break ever since he won that championship 2 years ago. Has not gotten a win since then, but that 98 is charging through the field, and he's looking to the inside of the 57 of Shauna Everett. Honda has yet to win this season. They are 0-14, but it could be Kevin DuPont getting them their first win of the year with this 98 car.
DuPont trying to draft off that 57 here as we head down the front straightaway. Dejima and Chanot behind him going at it there for third with Bryan still up here. Alnita Kim still up here. Lakin Herndon has made his way up here in the 39. Adrian Wheeler in the number 40 car. That's a car that's kind of in that cut line conversation. So this could definitely be interesting. Oh, but it's going to get blocked by the 39 of Lakin Herndon.
That was a big
I'm
block.
saying no, sir. As for the lead, here comes DuPont.
Oh, which driver is Akiya Tajima going to go with? He's looking up high going into turn number 3, and he's going to back off from this battle as DuPont and Everett are door to door here, coming off of turn number 3, and DuPont's going to get the run on the inside and clear Shauna Everett before they get to the start-finish line. Kevin DuPont up to the lead in the Hy-Vee number 98. George Bryan going to try and follow suit and extend his points lead further. I mean, he's 47 years old. He's the oldest driver in the field, and he's doing all this. He has been absolutely outclassing everybody this year, not necessarily due to volume of wins, but just sheer consistency. And this is kind of what we expected this pairing of Patriot Racing Incorporated and Brian would be last year, but it wasn't quite up to this level. But this driver and team combos really hit their stride this year. And Brian's looking for a second win in 4 weeks, and he easily could have won the race at Evergreen last week as well. If the cycle had cycled all the way out, then he would have won the race. But here comes Everett with a dive bomb into turn 3, and she had to check up, unfortunately, so that move's not going to work out, and she's going to stay in third. And here comes Brian looking to the inside of the 98 of Kevin DuPont for the race lead going into turn number 1. And I think we're going to be pitting in about 5 laps or so. We're going to have that second pit stop coming up very soon. That's going to be the money stop for these guys. You cannot afford to make a mistake there. And that could end up deciding who wins this race.
Definitely, this is going to be the money stop here, especially if it does happen under green, knock on wood. But these guys are still kind of bunched together up here for the race lead, especially like from 4th on back. They're pretty much all in a line, which is kind of surprising to see considering we're getting towards the end of a run. Kevin DuPont trying to hold on to the lead. Shauna Everett in the 57. They held the lead for quite a little bit there. Now they're going to try and make their way up to second, looking to try and spend some more time potentially out in front of the field. Lakin Herndon looking to try and follow suit in that number 39. And looking inside the top 10, Nathan Buchanan. He continues to claw his way here through the field. That 15 car has got some serious pace. And if he can maybe get a little bit luckier with this upcoming pit cycle, we'll just have to see what he can do. Tim Berry also looking to try and make some headway on that number 1. I think he's made his way now inside of the top 20 to see what he can do here
15.
under this final pit cycle. Ooh, inside the top 15, so even better there for the one of Tim Berry.
Oh, here comes Lakin Herndon,
up toward the front here, though.
He got past Shauna Everett and George Bryan, and now he's going to try and get past DuPont for the race lead. And a big send by George Bryan as well to get down to the inside of the 98. Looks like Lakin Herndon, who has not won since Evergreen in Season 3, is going to make his way up towards the front. And for a guy that's 20th in points, how valuable would a win be at this stage of the season?
Absolutely valuable. It could pretty much... I'll have to see how this influences the wild card battle, but I have no doubt it would definitely throw quite the wrench into things. I know this is definitely what a lot of the drivers already in that conversation don't want to see. Herndon trying to break that winless drought. George Bryan still, though, all over the back bumper. Like you said, he's just been so consistent so far throughout this season, and while he hasn't really dazzled the field with dozens of victories, he's definitely been far and away potentially the best driver so far this season as he looks to the inside. Here heading into turn number 3, but abiding by his time. Going to stay in behind the 39. And I wonder if that's because they're going to be coming down the pit lane. Yep, here we go. They're stacking up
a bit of a stack up there.
That's going to affect Buchanan.
Late decision by DuPont to come in and pit. Oh, be careful with that pit wall. I think they're all going to get through. I got a little bit close for comfort, but that was a bit of chaos going into the pits, but nothing like what we saw last time. And still out on the track is Tim Berry, Michael Harvin, JT Boyd, Buchanan, who got held up a lot by the confusion there. The 36, the 16, and the 50 are also staying out, but everybody else on the track is coming in. Zach Dearman's got a lot of front end damage. He might have gotten into the back. He might have gotten into the back of somebody entering the pits. And like we said, very chaotic with this many cars coming in and pit.
Shauna Everett.
Oh, Everett with a long stop. that might have been the car that Dearman got
Wonder
into.
if, yeah.
I don't see any rear end damage on the 57, but I don't know. It's not looking good there for Everett. Here comes everybody else into the pits. We'll see if that extra lap of tires is going to affect them any. Could definitely help them later in the run with having fresher tires than everybody else, but Buchanan was the only. Oh no, the
Oh,
teammates
no!
are making contact as Everett leaves the pits. That's not what you want to see.
Oh, and it goes from insult to injury for Sean Everett and Ashley Blake. That's, oh man.
Yeah, it's been a rough race for Blake. Everett Motorsports had one of their cars fail to qualify, and then both the cars that did qualify ended up getting into issues. But here comes Barry out of the pits. Oh, caution's out again.
Caution!
Caution is out again. Not sure what for. Let's see. Oh, big stack up. Dearman, Damon Kirby, and Tyler Landry, the second place driver in points. Was that it? I believe that was it. I don't see anyone else involved, but Dearman's day goes from bad to worse as they stacked up in turn number 3. But they cycled all the way out this time, and oh man, Caleb, this finish of the race is going to be very fun to watch.
Absolutely, this could definitely get very, very interesting. And
I tell you what,
some drivers already checking up there for the caution. The guys that just came down pit road, they didn't really get the memo. They're still going after it.
well, but they didn't
just
take
been the call.
Yeah, they didn't take the yellow. I think it kind of got reversed on them this time. This time, the cars that pitted late end up benefiting. Because the caution did not come out. The caution did not come out as they came across or before they got to the line this time, so they actually got to race it out. But Lakin Herndon's going to be the leader. Barry, all of a sudden, has completely flipped what happened to him under the first caution, and now he's up to second. Michael Harvin, Nathan Buchanan, and these guys are also going to have the tire advantage on these guys, so this was a huge break for them. Jacob Lopez is now in the top 10 after the race he's had.
Yeah, this might arguably pin things on its head more than the first caution. Like I said, for the guys that just came out of the pits, kind of flipping the script there from what happened to them under the first caution of the race. It's definitely going to benefit them greatly. It's going to give them the track position and the fresher tires on the rest of the field. That's absolutely incredible for those guys that just came down.
Oh man, that's not incredible for these guys. Damon Kirby had a career best finish last week. He's got a tore up race car this time. He did get into a wreck at Evergreen. He was actually the reason for the first caution, but I don't think he's going to be coming back from this one because that's a significant amount of damage. And of course, that kind of damage is a lot more impactful on a track like Pocono than it is at a short track like Evergreen. So I'd imagine the 18 of Zach Dearman and the 66 of Tyler Landry, 2 cars top 5 in points, are all going to come in here. Well, Landry's going to try and stay out. I don't know if I agree with this, but I mean, he's got nothing to lose. He's already at the back. You might as well fix the damage, but he's going to stay out there. Not sure what
I guess.
I'm not sure what the game plan is for the 66 team. Maybe Landry's just frustrated. He's had a bit of a tough race here at Pocono. Pocono's just never seemed to have been Landry's friend. Because he had a tough outing here last year as well, but man, these cautions have really thrown a wrench into how we thought this race would go. Second yellow of the race, and these guys, they're going to have a sprint to the end here, and from what we've seen from these runs that we've had, and with the amount of lead changes that we've had, and the amount of cycling that we've had, this could be a very entertaining finish to the race here at Pocono. We're going to show you what happened to bring out the yellow, and then we're going to get you back to the restart at the Pocono Raceway. Well, it's going to be an awkward team meeting for McPinkey Motorsports as Lori Jackson is going to dive bomb it into turn number 3 here and get another quarter panel of Tyler Landry, who's already had a bit of a rough race here, and Landry's going to end up spinning off of the bumper of the 6-car Lori Jackson, and nowhere to go for Damon Kirby, who first gets into the 66 and then gets into the wall. Zach Dearman also nowhere to go. Already had some damage from the pit lane incident, and then that happens, and then James Harvin also piles in the number 45, but not as much damage to the number 45. He should be able to keep going. But yeah, that's going to be pretty awkward. The last thing that you want to do when you're racing your teammate is wrecking them. And, Jackson lost a lot of spots in the pits there, but just an ill-advised move for Jackson. That's going to put her even further back. And just unfortunate here, but that is going to set up a late race restart. And things might be getting crazy here at Pocono. This is our second caution of the day. Happening in turn number 3 once again. That has been the trouble spot here today.
Watching on here in real time, going into turn number 3. Jackson going to try and send it in on the teammate. Just kind of misjudges the gap potentially a little bit. And clips the 66 in the quarter panel. Sends Landry around into turn 3 and just nowhere really for any of these guys to go, as Damon Kirby pretty much got blindsided because of that. Zach Dearman pretty much had no time to react, and Harvin didn't really have enough time to really do much more either. So really tough break there for all those guys involved. And like you said, Brennan, I think this is going to be a bit of an awkward team meeting here post-race.
Welcome back here at the Pocono Raceway, wrapping up our second caution of the race. One more car joining Charlie McCarron in the garage, the 70 of Damon Kirby. We are going to have 8 laps to go here at the Pocono Raceway to decide this one. And I don't know about you, Kayla, but I am really excited to see how this thing ends. We've got a lot of championship implications in here. Lakin Herndon is currently leading the race. He's 20th in points. Him winning would really mess with the playoff picture. Tim Berry getting a second win, of course, would be a big deal, down to 24th in points. Michael Harvin, Nathan Buchanan, and JT Boyd round out the top 5. Pace cars pulled into the pits, and we are back racing here at Pocono. Will this be the final restart? Only time will tell, and here comes Michael Harvin looking to the inside of the one of Tim Berry on the restart. Caught him napping. And Harvin's going to move into second. He has not won since Auto Club in 2023 towards the end of the season, so he's also riding a long winless drought himself. We'll see if Harvin can maybe go to victory lane here, but there's still plenty of time for things to change. Here comes JT Boyd in the number 77. We pointed out at the start of the show how he has been getting outclassed by his teammate Holly Martin this season, but he's having a lot better run than her here. And here comes Michael Harvin for the race lead. Corbin Taps and Kevin DuPont down on the inside lane. And Harvin's going to try and take the lead, and he will off of turn number 3. 7 laps to go as they come across the line this time.
It's definitely shaping up to be a crazy finish here. We've seen a lot of crazy racing here over the course of this race. Once you bunch everybody back together on fresh tires, here comes Kevin DuPont looking for second on the number 16 of Corbin Taps. Couple drivers up here towards the front of the field looking for a return to victory lane as DuPont will clear for second on Corbin Taps. Taps will hold on to third. They're going side by side for fourth, or at least they were. Lakin Herndon will hold on to that spot. Here comes Tim Berry with help from a fellow Chevrolet there in the 15 and Nathan Buchanan. This race still far from over. This time by coming to 6 laps to go. Taps back to the inside of DuPont. Looking to try and take second back away. Herndon might try to follow suit in that number 39. Can Taps get maybe a bit of a twofer here? He's to the inside of Michael Harvin for the lead.
Your pole sitter's found his way back up to the front after the up and down race he's had. Taps back into the lead with 6 laps to go. He's going to clear Michael Harvin going into turn number 1, but DuPont has found the inside again. He's going to look underneath Harvin for second. This 98's been one of the fastest cars all day long, but he has to execute here at the end if he wants this win. Right on the back bumper of Corbin Taps. Lakin Herndon will pass into third, and the 98 is looking to the inside of Corbin Taps. Taps into the wall a little bit going into turn 2. And they're side by side through the corner, and the 98 will make the pass. Kevin DuPont back out front. Taps did not have a good exit off of turn 2 as well. That's going to give DuPont a bit of a lead. But we have seen drivers get a bit of a lead here a few times during this race, but they have not been able to keep it for long, and Taps is already back on the attack. Coming off of turn number 3, he's going to go alongside him down the front straightaway. 5 laps to go across the line this time.
Still side by side, a great battle here for this race lead. Taps side by side going into turns number 1 and 2. Harvin to the inside of Lakin Herndon there for third. Let's see if DuPont can get back down, get good enough of a run off of turn number 1 to hold off that 55. Looks like he will, at least for the time being, but Harvin looking to try and close in still. DuPont's got a heck of a run here down
He's
into the
sending
tunnel turn. He sends one down the inside of Corbin Taps. Taps trying to stay at the quarter panel, but he's going to be at a disadvantage here heading into turn number 3. And Kevin DuPont is going to take the race lead back, coming to 4 laps to go. What a battle for the race lead we're having.
That was a classic Kevin DuPont send right there into turn number 2, and he made it work. He tried that a few times at Evergreen, and it didn't work out, but this time he got it to execute. 4 laps to go for Kevin DuPont, trying to get Honda their first win of the year. He's going to have to hold off Corbin Taps. Taps looking for his 3rd win of the year. Not a great exit for the 98. Here comes Taps. He's back to the bumper of the 98 car. Michael Harvin and Tim Berry battling each other back here. Nathan Buchanan and Darren Walker waiting in the wings. But the 16's not able to get to the 98 going into turn 2. He's going to have to try and roll off the corner to try and get a run down the straightaway. As the run goes on, it'll get a little bit harder to pass, although maybe you couldn't tell from how this race has gone, but DuPont is starting to really get these corners down. Really starting to nail them here as Taps has been unable to make a move, and Michael Harvin's trying to reel him in that 55 car. We got 3 laps to go here. Can Kevin DuPont hold them off and get his 3rd career win and his first one in a year and a half? Or will one of these other guys have a shot at it here? Nathan Buchanan's going to move up into 4th. This 15 car has been pretty fast. But is he fast enough to catch these top 3 as they start to single file out? It starts to get a little bit harder to pass, but Taps trying to get a run down the straightaway. He's trying to angle into turn number 2, but still not quite close enough. DuPont does brush the wall a bit, though. That could give Taps an opportunity on exit. Here he comes, peeking to the inside. Is he going to be able to send it enough, though?
He tried to back the corner entry up, a bit of a pump fake there on the 98 of Kevin DuPont. And it's going to work out for him as he will exit side by side on the quarter panel with the number 98. Down the front straightaway they go. 2 laps to go. Here from Pocono, they stay side by side for the lead. Here comes Buchanan, looking to try and take 3rd away from the 55 of Michael Harvin. We've seen this 15 car come alive here on these long runs, and he is trying to close in here with our top 3 as Taps takes the race lead back with just about a lap and a half to go.
But was that the last move for the lead? Kevin DuPont needs to try and close back in. Nathan Buchanan is trying to insert himself in this battle, trying to get past Harvin, but Harvin's been playing defense pretty well. Here comes DuPont back to the inside, going into turn number 3, coming around to the white flag. They're going to be side by side through turn number 3. DuPont's going to roll the corner better. If Taps can get Taps getting a good run off the exit, though, on the outside lane. And they're going to be side by side coming across the white flag. 1 lap to go. It was Taps barely across the line that last time, but they're still side by side going into turn number 1. And DuPont's going to back off. Taps manages to roll the outside. DuPont with a bad entry into the corner. That might be all she wrote, as Taps is pulling away from the 98.
That might have just been it right there into the tunnel turn for the final time. DuPont trying to do everything he can to close back in, but that bad entry into turn 1 might have just been it. He's closing back in here for a potential final charge through turn 3. He sends it in. Can he hook the corner better than the 16?
I don't think so.
Not
I don't think he's
quite.
going to be close enough. Coming off of turn number 4, Corbin Taps with an excellent defensive drive from pole to win. He is going to get his 3rd win of the season. Corbin Taps claims victory at the Tricky Triangle.
Whew, that's my driver.
What a race that was. That was nothing but pure chaos and entertainment from start to finish. That is one of the best races I think I've ever seen in LSCI. And Corbin Taps ends up getting the better of it, and if his 2 wins didn't essentially lock him into the chase before, the 3rd one definitely should.
With With a lot of the stuff we've seen today, that might just even put himself back inside of the top 10 in points. What a drive from the 16 of Corbin Taps. What a battle there in the closing laps between the 16 and the 98. Just two drivers absolutely giving it their all there in the closing laps. But in the end, it's Corbin Taps finally kind of returning to that early season form in that number 16. Hats off there to that McPickey Motorsports team. Still got to give a lot of credit to Kevin DuPont for driving the race of his life right there. But my goodness, what a race, what a battle, and what a victory there for Corbin Taps as everybody kind of does the celebratory roadblock into pit lane. But, oh, man, this is why we love Pocono. This is why we always look forward to coming here year in and year out. Always usually such a fun racetrack. Never really know what to expect from this track either. And this race absolutely delivered.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This was definitely one of the best races of the season, and it ended up being Corbin Taps coming up on top. The guy that started it first won the race, but it definitely wasn't easy for him. He had quite a journey today to get to victory lane. Again, big kudos to Kevin DuPont, second place. Can't be mad at that. He's had a pretty dismal season, really a pretty dismal like stretch ever since he won that championship in his first season with Walker Brothers Racing. But that was definitely a great run from him. Can't be too mad about that. Michael Harvin with, I don't know if I remember the last time Michael Harvin has finished on the podium. That's a great run for him, that 55 car. Darren Walker desperately needed a run like this. All the way back, 33rd, last out of the full time cars by a considerable margin. And while his chances of making the chase are probably near zero at this point, just getting another good run in the books is definitely helpful for him. It was a great day for two-thirds of the Walker Brothers Racing camp as they ended up getting second and fourth. Nathan Buchanan had a great run here today, ends up finishing in fifth. George Bryan will likely extend his points lead with another sixth place finish. Akiya Tajima will end up in the top 10 in seventh. How about Lulu Connie breaking into the top 10 right at the end of the race? Great run for that 92 car. That 92 car shown speed no matter who's been in it. So Lulu, very impressive. She's been hopping from team to team throughout this season, pretty much kind of doing odd jobs, I suppose. And this is her second top 10 in that 92 car, so she's definitely got a lot of speed still. Jack, Gino, Lake, and Herndon, two drivers that desperately needed top 10s to stay alive in the wild card race, or at least stay within reach of the top 10. They both ended up getting those runs. And let's look at the rest of your field here. 34 cars finishing the race, all of them on the lead lap. The only two retirements were Damon Kirby, Charlie McCarron, and we'll get you an update on Charlie McCarron here after the end of the post race, as she had a wild ride in turn number 3. But that was a crazy, crazy race, and this is gonna shake things up in the points, but maybe not as much as we expected from how this race started. Looking at the wild card race, Tim Berry is in 12th, JB Chanot 21st, so Berry will pass Chanot. However, Shauna Everett finishing 28th is really going to mess with things, as she's almost certainly going to fall outside of the top 10 and claim a wild card spot herself. But with Corbin Taps winning, he'll jump back inside the top 10. So he could definitely jump in. But on the other hand, you got Jacob Lopez finishing in 31st, so he'll fall back out of the top 10 likely. So it's just a whole mess of what's going on in the wild card. So I mean, you'll see in just a moment who is actually in the wild card spots right now, but it's a complete mess. And Caleb, we got 5 races to go here in the regular season, and we're officially halfway done with the 2026 LCI season. What are your thoughts on how the season has gone so far? What are your thoughts on the race, and what do you think we should be expecting down the stretch for these final 5 regular season races?
It's definitely been a really, really fun season competition so far here in the LSCI, and this race absolutely proving that point to a T is gonna be very interesting to see all the shakeups and everything after today's race here from Pocono. It's going to be interesting to see how those shakeups translate into the remainder of the regular season. Definitely think we're going to see quite a bit, of course, with Corbin Taps going to victory lane. had a lot of guys inside the top 10 in points kind of struggle this race, which could definitely shake some things up around then. Of course, the long card battle, I think, is definitely still going to rage on well past here this race here at Pocono. It's going to be fascinating to see how that ends up transpiring as these next couple of races go along. But it's definitely been such a fun season. And what a race here from the Pocono Raceway. Had pretty much just about everything you could ask for. Seen a lot of great racing all throughout the day. Seen a lot of great battles, especially there towards the end there between the number 16 and the 98. Strategy was definitely an interesting part in this race. Of course, it seems like every time these guys decided to come down the pit lane, we had a caution following in the toes. But still, definitely fascinating to see how everything in this race shaped out. And definitely a really, really fun race. Maybe even a potential race of the season contender. Definitely a very, very fun race here from Pocono in the Pennsylvania 400.
I hope you're not tired of passing because next week we're going to be headed to Kentucky Speedway. So, that
Uh,
sounds like a joke. That sounds like a joke for those that aren't in the know, but we've got
Not in our Kentucky.
no. Our Kentucky is different. It's built different. So, if you weren't sick of the passing here, then you're going to get sick of it at Kentucky. But I don't think anybody's sick of passing. So that is going to be another fun one, of course. Caleb, you've been on the call for a Kentucky race before, and that was a pretty wild one in itself. That was actually the to this day the race with the most lead changes in LCI history when Akiya Tajima took the win 2 years ago, and then last year we had a pretty exciting one as well that ended with Tyler Landry getting the win after a three wide pass in turns 3 and 4. Crazy stuff happens at Kentucky, and I'm really excited for that one. And of course, you being a Kentucky native, I know you've had this race circled on your calendar for quite a bit as well. But that's going to do
Mhm.
it for today's broadcast. Congratulations to Corbin Taps and McPicky Motorsports on the win. Third win for Taps, fourth win for McPicky on the season. And it was an exciting one here, and we're getting down to the nitty gritty here for sure. And these last five regular season races are definitely, I'm really expecting them to be quite something. But thank you guys for joining today's race. And thank you for Caleb for joining me up in the booth. Always glad to have you here. And on behalf of Caleb Rose, this is Brendan Wilmington from the Left Turn Network signing out. Here are your point standings after race 15 of 30, which will be on your screen right now.